Hey guys! Alright, so we've done our trees, now we're going to do the wreath. So, like I said, this is a 9-inch wreath. First thing I'm going to want to do is find something to wrap it in. And this is just Dollar Tree, the burlap with the lace. It can be anything, it can be some strips of material, like the bed sheet that I used for the one tree where I braided everything. So just as long, I just find that it makes it a little easier. Then of course, you're going to need, and remember with this size, I am doing 2.5-inch squares. With I want to say it was a 14-inch wreath. I did a 4-inch square and it turned out beautifully. So I'm thinking 2.5 is going to be okay, because once you take this and pinch it together, it's not going to stick out too much. But you do want it to be kind of nice, but I need to fit my trees in there, so I don't want it to be. If you want it to be more full, then make it the size that you think. You know, just fold up your items. Now, I'll go through all of the things that I'm going to be using, I think. Because sometimes I change my mind once I, stick that one piece in there. I go, no. So you got to have your paper bag. Now, this one was a hardware store one. It has some red in it. It has some writing on it. And those pieces we just work with. It just adds a little more to it. I did the free sheet that I have out on my Facebook group. I put it on both sides. And so this is 2 8.5 by 11 sheets cut in 2.5-inch squares. Then I had a bit of this left over from whatever I did, for my Christmas cards. And it has a little titch of red, which I did want to bring a little bit of red into this, but I'm kind of trying to keep it earthy, a little more earthy. I do live out in the country, so that works for me really well. You, of course, use anything you want to match yours. If you're doing like the pinks and teals, this would work. If you're doing the reds and greens, this will work. Anything goes with paper bag, anything. And then some of the material that I covered one of my tree with, I cut some squares of that. I had some burlap and ivory, or probably more ecru ribbon. I cut a few squares of that. I might get more. I had this. This is a tool, but it didn't come on the rounds. It was bought off of a regular bolt-like material. And it's copper and gold and got a little silver in it too. So that's going to bring me some nice shine, because I do want it to, be sparkly as well. And like I had showed you already, I did pull some of the sheet pieces that I had cut. I don't know if I'm going to use it, so I didn't cut it up yet, but I've got that if I want to use that. Then, this is an old embroidery piece. It's got the pattern on it. I don't know if you can see that, but I coffee stained it. But there is a pattern on there for an embroiderer to do their thing. And so I coffee dyed it a while back, and I think this will work great for me. And then I found this little baby, I like it. So I will be cutting 2.5-inch squares off of that. I do not know if this is a tablecloth I picked up somewhere. I don't know if I'm going to like this color with it. But as you start working, you will probably start going, oh, I need something lighter or darker, So then you can always go back to your stash and look for stuff. Okay, so let's move right in to, now this has got wire in it. It's totally fine to leave it in there, or you can take it out if you want to. I just get myself a starting point, stick it on. Gonna use my little finger, a little finger punch here, so I'm not burning myself. And let it get good and dry before you start pulling on it. And then we're just gonna start wrapping it, and you do want to pull it nice and tight. This is a whole roll. I think there's 3 yards on it. And then I just, when I just put another little bit on there and I roll it. There's not really any easier way of doing this. You can cut them into smaller pieces, but you know. So I usually wrap it around twice, and then I give myself some more. And I am getting a good 3/4 of an inch overlapping on it. I'm getting all of my pieces of everything laying out here. So make sure you put it on the part of the wreath that your ribbon is actually going to be touching. I have done that a couple times. Oh, well, it's it didn't catch because it's not going there. And sometimes, you know, there's a little bit left over of the glue for the second roll. That's why I usually do it every other, because it is catching. And when I put the glue, sometimes I will, you know, start and just slide it up underneath there first and then put the glue. So, yeah, you just wrap it around. I hope everybody has been having fun with all of their Christmas things that they're trying to do and get done. Like I said, I'm having a Christmas party. I'm inviting people I don't know. My husband knows them. So it will be interesting. I can't remember now if that was second time or not, but we'll just bring it around one more time. I'm probably overdoing it, but I would much rather overdo it than under. And since I don't know if that's going to find its way, okay, stick this through, bring it around, make sure you're getting overage, and I'm knocking everything off. Just give it a nice tight roll. Roll, baby, roll. Oh, I need to get a new stick in here. Let me get this wrapped, and then I'll get my next stick in there so I can utilize my glue. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave that right there and get myself another stick of glue. Not quite ready yet, but we're going to need it here in a minute. Okay. So, got some more news. I tell you, never a dull moment around my house, ever. So my son and his fiance came over, and we were like, oh, hi guys, you know, so nice to see you. And yeah, so they're pregnant. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they're pregnant. So I'm like through the moon. That's wonderful. And I'm just so excited for them because they really wanted it. She didn't really know if she was going to be able to because of some health issues, but so far, she's about 5 weeks along, and the baby, they get an ultrasound on the 20th, I guess. And then my son calls me today and said that the doctor called her back and told her that I don't remember, and my son didn't remember. I don't remember what they, what things they went by to tell, but she could be having twins because some number is off the charts where it's normally here to here, but if it's up above that, it might mean that it's a multiple birth. And so we'll know on the 20th. So there you go, guys. There's my news. See, never a dull moment around here. Yeah, so we're going to be having a wedding and a baby, and wow. Wow. Right? Yeah. So, Merry Christmas to me. That's what I told them. I got one, and when they get married, I was going to have my second one because of her son, who's just a darling. And, but now I might have 3 or 4. You don't know. Hey, it's an adventure. Life is an adventure, and if you just run with it, whatever happens, just run with it. And because the good Lord never gives you more than you can handle. You know what I'm saying? And so even if it's all bad stuff, you just got to go with it and figure out what's working, what's not, keep trying, that kind of stuff. Okay, so I got all the way around, and I put some glue right here at the inside, and then I'm letting that dry. I've got it really nicely snugged down, and I'm letting that dry so it won't move. There we go. And then I'm going to take my scissors. Come here, Timmy. Oh, he's over here. Excuse me. And I'm just going to cut this, leaving about 1/2 inch or so, just so I can get another bead of glue on the end of the ribbon, burlap ribbon, and then bring that around and get it all sealed down. Isn't that cute? So now if any of it shows, see, it almost took 3 yards for this 9-inch. So, I mean, if you don't have as much as 3 yards, you don't have to overlap it quite as much as I did. So, that's just work with what you got. Don't go out and buy stuff. Even if you have, because you're really not going to see much at all. When you flip it over, you will be able to see the bottom. But you're not always, there's no reason to flip it over. Okay, so this is our starting point. And the first thing I like to do, and basically you just kind of take the center, squeeze it into a, just a 4-pronged little something or other, and then I fold the corner in just a little bit. I put glue in there, and then, let's see, I lay it down on the inside so that it's actually laying on the ground, okay? So it's actually laying on my surface. And, oh, I got all kinds of flying things. And I do that all the way around. And it does go pretty quick. I'm not saying you'll get one of these done every day, but I didn't get one of these done every day with the larger wreaths, but you know, it'll take a couple hours. And I overlap it. See, you can see it on this side. I overlap them, and yeah. Now, another thing that you can do, now usually on these bottom ones I don't, but you can crunch them all up and then open them and give yourself more texture. But usually on these outside pieces that I want, I don't do that. Because I want it to lay fairly flat and fairly even. Now this one had a little rip. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It will just add another little corner prong to your... And I do put a good bit of glue on there because I want this to stick. I don't want it going anywhere. And I will have these for years to come. So I still haven't shown you my wreath, have I? Well, next time I come on, if I think about it, I will put, or maybe I'll add a couple of pictures of my wreath to the back of this video. Anyway, so you want it to make it nice and thick because this is what everything's going to be laying on to get your, you know, for all of your other good stuff. So, but you do go through quite a few paper bags. The one that I cut was, you know, kind of a mid-size model. And I even undo the bottom of it. So, like, let's see, do I have another one? Well, my husband goes to that shop all the time. You think I'd have a lot. Okay, so it was a size larger than this one. But I go through and I open this up. I use it all. You know, so I open all this up, flatten it out, cut it, and then, you know, cut it that way. So, but yeah, we just keep going. So I am going to go ahead and finish this outside row just like this, and then on the inside row, and then the outside row, and I always put the point up on these bottom pieces. I put the point up, and your biggest thing is you want it to lay on your surface. It doesn't have to, this little tip part doesn't have to lay, but you want it so that it will, when you lay it down, that it will flatten out to lay on the surface. So you'll go and do all of the inside, and then you'll go and do all of the outside. And again, you're going to layer. You're going to put, you know, a third of it on top. And you want these to be nice and thick. Now, see, here is a little red and a little writing. If you don't want that to show, put most of it on the inside, and you won't see it as much. And they don't have to be particularly uniformed. If you get one that's a little not quite so straightforward, that one didn't catch underneath at all. So let me do that. And so I am going to leave you, and I'm going to finish this part up, and then we'll come back because that's when the real fun starts. All right, guys? You get this one down. make sure you're not starting to build up on your sides, because you don't want to take your space for all your other goodies, all right? Try and keep it down along the edges, all right? See you back here in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm almost done, but I thought, you know, I'm going to make sure that I show you the proper way that I did this. I get it so I get the point in between these two. So I grab them like this, and I bring that one point up so it pops up between the two of those, and then I kind of grab in the center and I flip it over again. And that gives me kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4 pronged little booger. And then I just fold the tip up. And that's the place where I put my glue. Now, this took me approximately 20 minutes. I just, put you guys on hold, so to speak, and kept working. So I've just about finished. Okay. And I'll put one more in there and one more out here. And then I just about used that whole bag for this part. So I'm going to show you, I started cutting another bag up and I said, "Ooh, let me just show you guys. Let me just bring you along for the ride." Yeah. Okay. And then right here. So now I've got the ring done on the inside and the outside. And like I said, the only part of the actual wreath that you see is, when you flipped it over. Okay, so there's that. So let me set this aside for a second. So I had the bag just closed, just like you would have a bag all closed up, like this. So it went boom, boom, and boom. Well, that way. So I cut 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5, and then I open it up like this. Okay, and then this piece, and I don't take great lengths, but I do try and do it without ripping too much of it off. Sometimes they've got it glued down so well that, no matter what you do, you're going to rip it, but I just try and do the best I can. Because really the main part is you want this last little bit of 2.5 here, which if you can get this open, and then this side, just so you can rip it so that you can flatten it. Open it up like this, and you're going to get another 2.5 out of there. Now, if it came across, if it opened up easily, you might get 2 more, but mine did not, and I didn't take as long as I normally do because I'm videoing. Okay, so we're just going to throw that one away. But I do try and use as much of the paper bag as possible. Okay, so, and you see it's made from 100% recycled paper and 50% post-consumer or higher. So we are recycling yet again. Yet again. So now I just take these because my cutter can pretty much cut this many. I take them and I cut them in 2.5 inches, and then I just rip them for the ones that are, you know, that got the seams. So the two end ones, the middle one won't. Well, actually, because of the size of this one, I'm only going to get 3 2.5 inch sections. But that will be good. That will be good. That works out just fine and dandy. Okay, so now we've got some paper bag. And I've got my other items. So the first thing that I do, now that we're into actual decorating, is I still keep that 5, 7, 9 rule. And I still fold it just like I did all the other ones. And I'll do usually 5 or 7 of the paper bag, just in odd spots. I kind of just build it randomly. Now, if you want to start in one section and move all the way around, I just didn't find that that worked very well for me. Or I'd run out of one of the items that I was using and really needed it in another section. You know, so this is the best way that I found. For me. So I think if you first try it this way, and then you might find that no, it doesn't really work for me like that. So there's 5, okay? And I decided on these that I am going to use double. And I do the same thing. I fold, and I fold. And this one, I know I'm going to need my little thing. I've got little spider webs of, and so I'm just going to put some glue on there and just stick it down. Okay. So I'll do 5 of these. Fold. And, you know, you don't have to, you just do the best you can with it. If you want to fold it yet again, because this is a little unruly, and some of these pieces were a little larger than others. And we can put that one like right there. Okay, 2 more. Fold, fold, glue, and it starts. First you feel, oh my gosh, am I ever going to fill all of this in? But especially these smaller ones, after making a lot of the 14 inchers, this could possibly be, see now this one I'm putting right on one of the papers and onto the wreath. So it's going to fill in those little areas. So there's 4, so let's do one more of this. And this is when you'll start seeing things that, oh, you know what? This might be all I use of this. Because I might go, not sure that I'm really wanting all of that amount. And at this point, you're also going to, let's put one down in here. You're also going to want to kind of figure out where you're going to put your bow. Now, I'm not doing a bow, so I don't have to worry about it. But if you're going to do a wreath that hangs, you're still going to do it exactly this way. But then you go, okay, right here is where I'm going to put my bow. And you can either, you know, take a bit of wire and wrap it around, take a piece of something and wrap it around. X marks the spot. However you want to donate some space for a bow. But, you know, I'm not doing a bow on this. So I think I'll go ahead and do my music paper now. And again, you just find little places to stick everything. And if you can't figure out double-sided. I also wanted to tell you that if you don't have a hot glue gun, you can definitely, I'm sure the Fabri-Tac would work. It would be a little more time consuming, but it is pretty quick grabbing. But, you know, you'll put one and then you'll want to stay away from that area. And when you start getting it almost completely filled up is the only time for me that I would work in one area a lot. So there's 3. I'm going to get onto the material here. Let's see. I have one kind of hanging out the side here. I know right now it looks really silly. But it all comes together. Lovely. Okay, that's 2 pieces. And this will make my 5th piece of this. And again, if you want to do 5, 3, 5, 7, I just find that it's it just kind of helps me to stay on task. And I'm going to put this one right up next to this. Okay. And occasionally I try and pull out all the little threads that accumulate. Alright, so next I have some material. And you can, depending, now usually when I'm first doing this, I keep the material on the outside, the right side of the material on the outside. And sometimes though, when I'm filling in, I will actually do the material on the inside because it's not, you're not going to see the outside of it, but you may see the inside depending on how I, you know, how I work it into the specific area that I'm trying to fill. So that okay, there's 2 of those. Again, you do all of these the same way. And, you know, once you really start getting it more filled in, then you start getting excited because you're like, oh my gosh, this is really pretty. Really pretty. Now, and some, like I said, some of my pieces are maybe 2 by 2.5. It really doesn't matter. You're fine either way. You are fine either way. So, before my glue dries, find a spot, Lisa. And I think this one, I am just going to flip it and do the inside because I can. Because I wanna. And we'll put that over here. And later on, when you do come back, you can, you know, we will be sticking things into this. Okay, and now I'm going to do this little guy. This was just some ribbon. And if you're finding that it's not sticking, you can put a little bit, and I'll show you that because I know that this will not. Paper usually does a lot better than the material stuff. So when you first flip it like this, take and give yourself a little bit to flip over so that will hold. And then, yeah, you kind of have to do that with, more so with the material, because I'm noticing that my material is not sticking quite as well. And you don't really need much. It's just kind of tacking it. That one's probably going to stick out too much because I didn't fold it very well. But remember, we are going to fill this whole thing in. So you don't really have to worry too much. There's that. And this is my little speck of red. And sometimes I want to... I stick my finger in the center of it. You know, you'll learn how to just play with them to get them to hang out better than what you wanted. You know, better than it's. Okay, let me think about that for a second. If you're finding that it's not holding its shape the way you want it, or if you're filling in a space, or if you plan on putting something inside one of these, a little Christmas ball or whatever, then you may want to stick your finger down the center of it to give yourself that little cup, so to speak. Just that little cup. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, one more of these. Then I am going to put you guys on hold again and figure out what I'm going to do next. Yeah, see, that might be all of this ribbon that I use. It might be all of that. So I know I am probably definitely going to love this. So let's just make us a quick little flowerette. That's going to be pretty. See, now here are my trees. There's 1. And 2. And 3. This might be too white. Might be too white. Now I do have the sheet, and I think I like this a little better. Because I think I like that a little better. And I definitely think I'm going to like this as well. And what else do I want? I don't know. I'm going to get these cut, and then we'll do 5 of each of those, and then we'll look at it again. Because like I said, it's just going to take a little bit of figuring out. I might even like to have a little bit of that on there, but I don't know yet. You know, we're just going to have to see. So I will be back